for Dynamic Leadership is the L5 elective, Leading in Your Volunteer Organization. The speech is 5 to 7 minutes. The speech title is Roundtable Discussions and Empowering Each Other. The purpose of this presentation is for the member to apply the skills needed to successfully lead in a volunteer organization, as well for the member to share some aspects of his or her experience serving as a leader in such volunteer organization. Volunteer organizations have different structures and come with their own rewards and challenges. Kireet Kokala will briefly explore club feedback mechanisms while examining how leaders can benefit from running roundtable discussions to empower the organizations they serve. Let us welcome Kireet Kokala.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you for that warm introduction, Anna. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, good evening. I've really enjoyed my time here at the Alpharetta-Milton Toastmasters Club. When I joined this journey last year, in 2018, as the VP of Education, I thought this would almost be a smooth ride compared to professional pursuits. What did I find out? I wasn't quite right. There are definitely similarities, but I was soon to find out that rigidity would not work in a volunteer organization. That's also because as leaders in a volunteer organization, officers typically tend to put on multiple hats for extended periods of time. Communication is also different in the sense that it's not as streamlined as work. You're not always connected on Skype or over email. We have less time and we have to do more with our time. But there's one thing that I found here which you have to really add up in other organizations to get the same effect, and that is feedback. In our club specifically, I found a lot of positive feedback. There's never a shortage of it, and that's been very beneficial. To recap, we have a lot of feedback in our club. It comes through general evaluations or prepared speech evaluations. There's also reports that get sent out by officers. Mike sends out a lot of minutes and club finances. There's also another kind called the 360-degree evaluation. In this case, I was evaluated as a leader, and thanks to a lot of you who've provided that feedback either candidly or directly, it really helps the leader or a participant figure out where are they going wrong, or better yet, what are they doing right? What's some of the criteria that they can improve upon? For instance, are they delegating properly as a leader? And then how can they improve over time? And all this is very exciting because I've used it in my career, professionally, and even in my personal time. And what really excites me today, as you probably can guess, is the theme of the speech and today's Toastmasters session is roundtable discussions. We talked about how we can use roundtable discussions to distinguish between volunteering to participate and volunteering to lead. Now we're going to talk about how we can use that to empower each other. Again, a roundtable discussion is simply an open-ended discussion where everybody can participate. Think about it as a magical table topic that goes on for a while and you just build on top of it. That's the easiest way you can think about it. If you were to explain it to a 5-year-old, that's what I would use and say, what do you like to talk about? We'll talk about it for 10 minutes. That's the simplest way you can think about a roundtable discussion. So for today's topic, let's come up with something arbitrary. We're all trying to help our fellow Toastmaster Mary, who has to do her icebreaker speech. And she's got 2 days. 2 days to do her icebreaker speech. And it is your task to tell me how you will help her in one sentence. And I will start. I only need 2 volunteers. I will help Mary by listening to her speech and breaking it down into simple, connected segments so that she may practice over Skype or in a large room. That's it. Hannah, would you like to try? How would you help Mary with her icebreaker speech? Just one sentence.
talk about yourself, because when you talk about yourself, you don't need to memorize it.
I like that. That's a great thought. Talk about yourself, because you won't have to memorize anything. Rohan, what would you do to help Mary?
Personally, maybe if she's had any experiences earlier in her life, it would be best to use those experiences to present to the other people.
Very good. Talk about yourself, use life experiences in the icebreaker speech. Any other takers? Any unique idea? Matt, how would we help Mary?
I was going to add in, since Mary is my youngest daughter's name, and she's very hard-headed, and anything that I say, she does the exact opposite, no matter what. My advice to her would be, don't practice, don't write any notes, walk in cold and do your speech. Knowing the person she is, she would do absolutely the opposite. She would practice it to the minutia. She would write it out by word, and she would come in completely prepared.
That's a great thought. Firstly, kudos to all of you for participating. Thank you. What noble ideas and what a nice story. We're helping Mary with her icebreaker speech. She's got 2 days. We're going from Skype sort of setups to a large room, connecting thoughts, telling her, just talk about yourself. Use your life experiences. Don't go into minutia. Just come into it. I took the segue today, and you know I like doing live experiments, just to show you that roundtable discussions can be fun, but you can also handle real business with it. You can do club business with roundtable discussions. You can have exit criteria. You can have voting. You can meet quorums. But why am I doing this? Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because it works. It works wonders for me. And it also helps summarize what it takes to lead a volunteer organization. It's not that much different from your career, but I think number one is creativity. You have to be creative in how you use the resources, the people at your disposal. How would you enable others? How can you be creative about your thought process? This is one example. You have to multi-purpose your tool set. Number two, you have to motivate. You have to lead by motivating others to be leaders in turn or down the road. You also have to lead by example. Why would you follow somebody's advice if they don't follow those tenets themselves, or if they don't hold those principles close? There's a saying, do as I say, not as I do. Well, you need to do some of that. And I think the last one that ties in everything together is being resourceful. You have to be resourceful enough to do more with little. And that's how you can definitely walk away with success. Roundtable discussions is just one example of that process, or that mindset rather, for leaders to succeed. But I'm also using this with the hopes that you've learned something from roundtable discussions. And I hope that you could walk out today with the understanding that you will use this at some point in these club meetings, because I'll be watching. Thank you.